welcome to the Monday evening.
Love ball like I do. After Dark, so must listen.
That's where I go to get my hoops fixed.
This is Field of 68 After Dark.
Welcome in, Field of 68 After Dark. We just got done wrapping up the Madness cast. We are now going into After Dark. Catch us on Series A of interviews, reactions live on our YouTube page here on the Field of 68. We got a big crew tonight. I'm going to work down the line here. Jeff Goodman. I'm John Martin. Jarrell McNeil. Rob Doster. Brooks Barnheiser. Matt McCall. I did it for the people. Again, it was not a, I would say, amazing day of upsets, but we'll see. We'll see how this Michigan game lands. But, fellas, big day of action. Let's start with McNeese State, which was technically the biggest upset of the day, Jeff Goodman. And they just absolutely jumped on them from the beginning of this game, as you well know, very personally, and they never looked back.
Yeah, I mean, surprising how dominant they were from start till almost finish. They let them back in at the end, but this Clemson team was big, right? They were tough. They were experienced. They were all those things. They're well coached. And Will Wade's team, which has run through the Southland this year for the second straight year. But we had them early this season on November 4th in Sioux Falls, and we weren't blown away. They weren't great, but they got better and better and better. And Will Wade, who's been in the news for what? For taking the NC State job. And everybody kind of wondering, well, are his players going to be locked in? Is Will Wade going to be focused? And he goes out there and gets the biggest win of the first day of the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, I thought, in terms of obviously for McNeese, huge day, Jarrell, but for Will Wade, who has, had to start from ground zero, for stuff that in 2025 is 100% good to go. So how big do you think that was just for him? And obviously he's headed on to NC State, but just getting that win again in the NCAA tournament for him.
Yeah, it was huge, and obviously that's what this time of year is about. And again, like you alluded to, John, it's a great story. Him kind of starting over and building this thing up, just with his bare hands. And, I think one of the coolest things about that, we got a chance to talk to him. He just gave all the credit to the players. So
yeah, he did.
I'm going to do the same. Those guys deserve a ton of credit. I thought from the jump, the tip ball, they set the tone.
Yep.
Not Clemson. They set the tone with the physicality. While we were worried about whether they're going to be able to match Clemson's physicality. They set the tone. They ran away. They punched Clemson in the mouth early on, and they were never quite able to recover. Now, granted, Clemson missed a lot of open shots and things like that, made some mistakes. They switched defense a little bit, McNeese did, just to keep them off balance, and they're never able to get in rhythm. And they were able to get out to a huge lead. Now, they were able to kind of track them down there at the end, like Jeff said. But, once you dig that big hole in this tournament with all the pressure and the underdog being ahead, it's hard to dig yourself out of.
The thing that was really impressive about what McNeese was able to do is that Clemson is built to be tough, right?
Yeah.
Like Victor Locken is a big physical dude, and Ian Shefflin is a fifth-year senior, 6'8", 240 pounds. He's built like a tight end, and they just manhandled those guys. Chase Hunter is a sixth-year point guard, all ACC guy, and they overwhelmed Clemson with length and athleticism and switching defense and switching 1 through 5 and completely blowing up what they wanted to do, guys. Like I could not be more impressed with McNeese. I did not think that they were going to be able to do that against a high major opponent.
13 points in the first half.
Yes.
Like, think about that for Clemson.
Here's
like an ACC team, 13 points in the first half.
And you said they should have been up by more.
I said it. And you called me out when we were interviewing Coach Wade. I mean, that was that was as an impressive first-round game as we've seen all day. You know, especially in the first half, to see the defense that they're playing and the job that they're doing. There's no distractions there. Like, he hasn't taken a job yet. And I think the other piece of it, too, is like the authenticity of Coach Will Wade and saying, yeah, I've talked to him. I've talked to him. Yeah, I have. And my players know it. And that's a credit to them.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's huge. I think we talked about it, but just like when a coach, like from a player's perspective, coach is like transparent and you kind of know his, you know, where he wants to go. And, you know, if he's just being honest about everything, you can't, you know, there's not really much distractions because you know everything. I think more distractions come if you don't know what's going on and, you know, you don't know who else he's talking to. But if he's very transparent, I think they were out there and they were trying to go, you know, win together. I think we had a lot of good points. Like those players are playing for something, you know, knowing that their coach might leave, you know, whether they go with him or, you know, they go in the portal. So I definitely think it was a, you know, a great day for them. And anytime you get a school's first win in the tournament history, it's a huge day. So for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I don't listen, I know McNeese fans are probably upset to lose Will Wade, even if it was they knew it was a temporary thing.
Yes.
But let me ask you this. If Will Wade does, in fact, go wherever he goes, NC State, Texas, Timbuktu, doesn't really matter, can this be something that McNeese and their
Yes.
program can build on with the next hire?
Yeah, I've actually talked to Heath Schroyer, their AD, former assistant coach, about that. And, you know, it certainly has elevated the program, right? He's
100%.
hoping now the next guy he hires will be able to kind of pick up. It's not going to be Will Wade, but everybody knows McNeese State now. Everybody knows it's a
Will Wade
brand.
ran over right after the game and embraced Heath Schroyer. There was a hug. There was like, hey,
Well,
man,
he gave the
appreciate you.
opportunity. He knows
Appreciate
that,
you
yeah.
giving me the opportunity. Like, that was – so now, yeah, no
Think
question about it.
That was the only job he could get. That
But
was
it's
it.
a more attractive job now
Yes.
with what he's done.
And they have some NIL. That's the
Yes.
other part. They've got a built-in now, booster kind of group that hopefully will keep giving because they love this. All those boosters went to this game. All the big boosters, Will Wade made sure they went to that game. They were sitting – my buddies were sitting right behind the bench next to him. So he knows they were at this game, and they're going to be like – just like the Miami guy, John Ruiz was. When he went to the Elite Eight, he said after that, he was like, I love this. It used to be football. I'm going to keep giving money. Well, till his company went, tanked.
Well,
Black
it was a
wallet.
Ponzi scheme, but
Right.
I think that the thing that's crazy about this is the way that he has built this roster. They have a very real chance to beat Purdue because while we said it was a bad matchup with Clemson, they do the things that Purdue has struggled with all season long.
Yeah.
The switching,
It's a great point.
the physicality, getting on the glass, right? The turnovers that they can force. That is how you beat Purdue. That is how you beat this Purdue team, and that is how you take advantage of it. And if Will Wade can get this group into the Sweet 16, like one, if you're the NC State AD, are you mad about that? Are you upset about that? If he's able to keep winning this, you're probably like, all right, look, you made your point. We get it. You can win, but can you come help us now?
I don't
There's
think
guys
you
in
can
the
be-
portal.
I don't think you can be mad about you being right? Like this is I'm probably making the right decision. This dude is doing it at a much tougher situation than the job that essentially we're offering him. So I don't think you could be upset about that, but I think y'all hit it right on the head. He spoke to it tonight. He was appreciative because it was the only option that he had. So it means a lot to him, and it speaks volumes as well about him. The fact that he's going to leave that program in a better situation,
Much better.
than when he walked into the door.
100%.
I remember seeing that program. They played at LSU.
Yeah.
First game of Ben Simmons' college career. And I remember that, like, they were
Antonio
awful.
Blakeney, too.
They were bad.
Yeah.
Look, and just one note on Purdue. I think a lot of people question whether or not they could beat High Point. I question whether or not they could beat High Point. I don't think I was the only one that had High Point winning that game in the world of college basketball predictions. And Purdue kind of held them at arm's length, won that game pretty easily. Braden Smith was really good. Trey Kaufman run was great. So they're heading to the second weekend again, man. Credit them. They were able to avoid getting picked off early in the first round, which is something that has been a trend for Purdue teams, and like a stick to beat Matt Painter with.
Yeah.
We finally got some good games here. Really good games.
Oh, my.
Look at this.
Has
The
blown
Tritons
it.
with their first lead of the game, UC San Diego.
Not yet.
It's not great.
I think it is over, though. I'm calling it.
It's not over.
No, I'm saying Drake.
It's not over.
Oh, Drake. I think you said Drake. My bad. Yes.
You can drink too.
But yes, the other big upset
Come
of the
on!
day. I guess there were two, but in terms of the mid-major level, Drake did beat Missouri. They sent Missouri home in the first round, and they were just the better team. I mean, Missouri made a run there in the second half, but Drake was just the better team through and through. In the entire night. And obviously for Ben McCollum, who's been attached to lots of job openings, very validating win for him. Rob, what made Drake so successful today against Missouri?
Well, they were able to frustrate Missouri defensively. And I don't know if you guys might have seen this happening. I don't know if I necessarily saw them being able to give Missouri that many problems on the defensive end of the floor. I don't think that you'll look at this and you'll watch the tape and say this is the best offensive performance that we've seen Drake have this season. I thought they did enough to be able to win. I don't know if it was necessarily the greatest thing that we've seen them do, but the question that I had with Drake coming in, and I said this before the game started on our Madness cast. By the way, you can watch that tomorrow starting at noon Eastern time. We'll be live again for 12 hours. My question was, when Missouri does all of their switching stuff and it forces Drake to try to beat you one-on-one in the mismatch, are you going to be able to do that? And I thought that they were able to do it well enough. Bennett Sturts hit a one-legged running three that he said he's never practiced before. And then he had another runner off of a go screen where they were able to take advantage of the switching that Missouri was doing. They made enough plays down the stretch to be able to avoid giving up that comeback, and they got the win, McCall.
Yeah, they got the win, no question about it. I mean, that's, I felt like going into the game, Missouri's size, physicality, athleticism would take over, and it didn't. And that's a credit to Drake. To be able to win that game, win a game in the NCAA tournament as we're watching this game. I mean, we're locked in on this one right now.
Yeah.
I can't help.
What a rebound.
Offensive rebound by Michigan.
Yes, keep going.
Well, no, I mean, we're sorry. We're used to the Madness cast cadence
Yeah.
a little bit here. It goes,
The thing that stood out to me about Drake, too, when Missouri cut it and had a chance to take the lead, they kept their poise. That's the one thing. You see a bunch of kids that played high-level Division II basketball, and they stayed poised. They didn't get rattled. And part of that is Bennett Sturts. You look at him, and he's like this all the time. Even Keel. Again, this is the best story in college basketball this year. A bunch of D2 kids coming with their D2 coach, and in year one,
it really
dominating the Missouri Valley. When nobody
unbelievable.
thought. They were picked preseason 6th. Nobody thought they were any good.
And he's a D2 coach who was like, his name was being thrown around for Indiana.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
Like,
was
think
in the
about
mix.
that. Like, Indiana.
Because there's so
and
much
now
respect for him.
he's the guy at Iowa. Josh Schertz last year, with the job that he did at Indiana State, and now he's at St. Louis, a former D2 coach. Like, these guys as coaches didn't skip steps. They didn't skip steps.
Yeah.
Like, that's a credit to them.
Yeah, good. I mean, in terms of this Drake team very well. They're like your adopted children. We all.
I do like him.
Yeah, we all
I
saw
I
this.
saw him in Charleston, and to be honest, I fell in love with this group. It's hard not to.
Yeah.
They play the right way. They're disciplined. They're not that talented. They're not super athletic, but they find ways to win games.
And they have a style.
Yeah,
They have a style. Like that. Like, this is their style. This is how they're playing. This is what they're doing. They have a style.
I mean, just the fact that, again, like against Missouri, they were able to get those shots consistently throughout the game was really impressive, because I thought Missouri could really rattle them.
Yeah, I mean, that was the biggest thing. There were some of us here on this panel, right, that had Missouri in their Final Four. And
and Jarrell.
I'm just curious.
That would be you and
I'm
Jarrell.
just curious how Jarrell feels about that right
It was
now.
my dark horse
Same thing with
pick.
Duster.
Does
I
anybody,
mean,
does
Duster had
anybody
like
think
20
that Drake
dark
can make a
horse
run?
picks.
Does anybody among us think that Drake can actually win the next one?
Well, here's the thing. What we're watching the Texas
Right.
Tech Right. UNCW, and
if it's UNC,
they can beat. Obviously, they can beat UNC
100%.
But the way
And
Texas Tech is even playing,
They
it's,
can beat
They
Texas
could beat
Tech too.
Right,
Like
they could beat
this is a team that could absolutely make a run to the second
Would
week.
be
if
a
they get there.
like again. I mean, it would be one of the cooler stories.
Yeah, it would.
Like honestly, in college basketball in a while.
It would, and it's a great story. And I think more than anything, it was a battle of pace tonight. They did a really good job of making Missouri work for everything they get. They kept them out of transition, and they did what they did on offense. They worked for the best shot. When they had to take it under 5 seconds to the shot clock, they did that, and it worked in their favor because even when Missouri made that run, they Bennett was able to stir. He was able to
He's the
make
best
a
player on the
couple.
floor tonight.
Yeah, he was able to make
And
a
I'm
couple
not
big
surprised
shots,
one
man.
bit. You know, I just didn't know if he'd have enough help.
Yeah, he's a gamer.
That was my biggest worry, but he was able to control the tempo, and you know the other guys don't make it. I mean, they had a bunch of turnovers, but Missouri had. I mean,
Look,
they didn't play a very clean
Drake
game.
won this with their defense. They won this game with their defense. They
Yeah, they
advanced
got
with
back.
their defense, and then they made enough shots down the stretch up to they were able to build up a 15-point lead. That's the way that they won.
There
this
weren't
game.
many fast break points by Missouri.
on a day that particularly lacked, the big upsets, the big
Excitement.
That was definitely at the top. That was definitely at the top. I don't know, that just watching it here, that did not look to me like a team that was going to be happy with just getting the one. They didn't look like, this is. I think they are coming for more, and like Rob said, either one of these teams in the Texas Tech UNC Wilmington game, I mean, they're not blowing anybody out of the water here. Texas Tech has their fair share of injuries, so I think Drake fans should be very hopeful about Saturday. I do. I'm not saying they're gonna be favored or anything like that, depending on who wins, but
They got a chance.
they definitely have a chance. I mean, you don't always think that. You don't always think that the double-digit seed that wins a first-round game has a chance in the next one. But I think in this case, they definitely do.
I feel like there's always one that gets there.
Oh,
There you go. Michigan holds on.
And it's a
Got
final.
it done.
It's a final.
Wow.
Michigan 68 to
The respect
65.
to
I tried to tell you
Eric
guys.
Nolan and
Yeah.
UC San Diego, though.
Hey, it was less than 4. They're gonna win by less than 4.
Hey, I'll tell you this: you were
Where's the hot sauce?
you were resounding in your praise of
You know what the
Michigan.
spread
and
was,
UC San
right?
Diego had a very real chance to win.
I know what I
It was
got.
2.5.
Yeah.
Close
2.5.
it 2.
That's
Close
crazy.
it 2.5.
Right.
That's
2.5.
crazy.
Close it 2.5. Go ahead,
Yeah,
John.
yeah. So, all right, that's the big. We do have some other upsets, or at least one other upset to get to. Arkansas was technically an upset today, although maybe it didn't really feel like it, did it? It didn't really. We'll get to them in the break, but it really did not feel like Arkansas was the underdog in that game. The way it all played out, I mean, they controlled it, pretty much from beginning to end, and so we will get into that. Whole lot more. Obviously, nice win today for Creighton. That was an underdog, short one, but it was an underdog as well. So we'll get into all of that here on Field of 68 After Dark. Don't go anywhere.
If you haven't heard by now, we have partnered with BetMGM for the season. We'll be using BetMGM lines to make all of our picks, and we'll have special offers for the listeners and the viewers. Download the BetMGM app and sign up using the bonus code FIELD. Deposit at least $10 and place your first wager on any game, and you'll receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets. Go download the BetMGM app and use the code FIELD today.
People have opinions about me, strong ones. Some compare my brand to the competition and call me a copycat. Some say that I'm just watered down, that I fall flat. I've heard it all. But the people who get me, they say I'm different, subtle, but balanced. Nothing to hide, nothing artificial. And once they give me a chance, they keep coming back for more. For more dab water. That's right, I'm talking about dab water, and I swear by it. No bubbles, no fizz, just a smooth, refreshing canned cocktail made with real tequila. 100 calories, 0 sugar, 0 carbs, and gluten-free. Find Dab Water's 4 flavors in an 8-pack variety pack or single flavor 6-packs. Dab Water invites you to enjoy its great lineup of products all tournament long. Take it from me, Jeff Goodman. Sometimes the most polarizing things are the best things. Dab Water, tequila, water, natural flavors.
Welcome back, Field of 68 After Dark. No matter what happens And then the next 9-29, this is the year of the Siddler. I don't care what they
Of the
say.
satchel.
And the satchel.
And the satchel.
And the satchel, but mostly the Siddler. All right, lots more to break down from today. We mentioned before we went to break. Just any opportunity we can take to have Jeff Goodman get on a soapbox, right, and preach about the job that John Calipari is doing. I think we need to take him up on that. You know, he has observed, right, from very afar, how good a job John Calipari is doing. And he stamped it with an underdog victory outright against Kansas as a 10-7 in the 10-7 game, in a game that they controlled for the most part. So what do you think? Another great coaching job by John Calipari today.
I mean, he beat a Hall of Famer in Bill Self. So, yeah, I think it was a hell of a win for him. And a much-needed win because he hasn't had any success in the NCAA tournament in the last 5 years. So this was a big win for him. Year one at Arkansas, which has been largely underwhelming. But if you finish strong and you get to a Sweet 16, which they have a chance to do here, they got to beat Rick Pitino at St. John's in Providence, which is not going to be an easy task. But if they can do that, if you're an Arkansas Razorback fan, you're thinking to yourself, this is a hell of a win. This is a hell of a season. Because at one point, you're thinking, we're not even going to make the NCAA tournament. Right? And now you got to win. Okay, you feel pretty good about we didn't hire a guy who's completely over the hill, right? He's still got something left in the tank.
Yeah, and I think you hit it on the head, Jeff. If they get to the Sweet 16 and they somehow take down St. John's at Providence,
it's a win.
This is a win. This year is a success.
Yes.
People are looking forward to what's to come, and they're comfortable for sure. And
You got
feel like
momentum
they
to
got
end
the
the
right
year.
guy with Coach Cal. And I mean, even tonight, they weathered the storm as well because they went through a run there, and I thought that Bill Self kind of threw them off balance with the zone. They got stagnant for a while, went on the scoring drought, and they were able to overcome that. After losing the lead, which they in the game they controlled for the most part, pretty much all of it, they lost the lead and they were able to come back. Nelly Davis made some big shots down the stretch, man, and those guys were able to put it to bed. So credit to them, credit to Coach Cal, man. This has been a different team down the stretch.
Yeah, I mean, I think you had a great point about the zone, and we talked about it, just switching it up and just how kind of, it can really mess up kind of the flow you have offensively, and the game kind of got stagnant. I think it was like we were on pace to get a 100-point game, ended up being in the 70s, but it was just definitely a great win, and I think it was just kind of cool to see them, bounce back from that struggle and get the win.
Yeah, we talked about it earlier on the Madness cast, and I think his ability to keep those guys locked in is something that is underappreciated, right? Like
Totally agree.
in the era of college basketball becoming professional basketball, which is like, let's be honest, guys, that's where we're at right now.
Oh, totally.
This is
Are
professional
you a
basketball.
pro, Brooks?
I guess so. Yeah. I don't
in
know.
the era of
So,
professional
Quasi-pro?
in the era where
Right.
college basketball is a professional sport, being able to get players to stay connected and stay locked in when they don't really have an incentive to do it beyond the paycheck that they're getting, right? Like that's when you create a culture where there is more than just the paycheck that you're playing for, right? We see that a lot of these, like you see that at Auburn, right? We see that at Florida, I think. We see that at Houston. When there is a culture that is more than just the paycheck, that is how you win in college basketball. And to see Cal be able to keep these guys together when they're 11-7, when they're 0-5, when they're 1-6 in the SEC, when they're still able to win games and compete, even though everything has kind of gone off the rails, for a team that has not been like, it's not like these guys have been together for 10 years, man. Like that to me is the most impressive thing. Now, there's lots of room to criticize him for the job that he's done this season. I don't think anyone should give him Coach of the Year. That is not what I'm saying. But given the bad start that they had, being able to keep them together, Matt, is like, how much more can you ask? When you're sitting there at 11-7 and 0-5,
Everyone was counting them out.
Yes.
Like everyone was like, "Hey,
It's
look,
over.
he's lost it."
You know what changed still? What I still say, go back to when Nelly Davis, when he took him out of the corner, right? When
I
he
totally
finally
agree.
allowed him to come out of that
totally
corner.
agree.
Nobody puts Nelly in the corner.
Nobody
right.
backs.
Nobody puts Nelly in the corner.
I agree.
That changed the
But
season.
putting the ball in his hands in Nelly Davis's hands and that's what Dusty May did for the 2 years. And John Martin, we keep talking about that FAU team, Elijah Martin,
the greatest team to
what
never win a
he's
title.
doing at Florida
The AC
right
title.
now. Vlad Golden, we just saw him, what he's doing at Michigan. But Nelly Davis, last year, he didn't struggle with the expectations. He did not. And the ball was in his hands, and he was creating, and he was doing all that. And that's who he is as a player. And for Cal, like, look, they were 0-5 in the SEC, and everybody in the country was counting them out.
Yes.
All of us. Everyone was like, has he lost it? Should he have taken this job?
I mean,
should he have really gone to Arkansas?
we had headlines.
Should he be sitting here with us right now on the field of 68 and doing TV? Like, should he be doing this? Like, I don't know, Cal. Like, what are you doing?
Hey.
And he gets his team to the NCAA tournament and wins a game against Bill Self in Kansas.
And now, and because St. John's was able to win, now we get Pitino and Cal on Saturday. Goodman, we get Pitino and Cal on Saturday.
Man,
this is what we wanted.
I wish. Think of how good media availability is going to be
Fanta
tomorrow. Fanta will be there. He better get some good stuff from the. I mean, all you have to do is repeat one thing to the other. They'll keep going back and forth all day. I mean, they're like little kids. It's awesome. It is. I miss it so much, and I think we're gonna get it at least for like the next 48 hours. We're gonna get it
for sure.
and I can't wait till the fake handshake. It'll be the phoniest thing you ever see this year. You know, they'll smile at each other and both be under their breath like asshole. I mean, it's gonna be fun.
Although Pitino had the video where he came out and said, you know,
he
hey,
supported.
give
Yeah.
flowers.
Yeah.
Don't boo him.
Right.
Yeah, don't
boo.
Yeah.
Don't
You
cheat.
think
And you know,
Cal walks up
and
and says-
Cal was thinking like, what the hell are you weighing in on this? You know, like, so anything they do, even if it is in the
This is
best
awesome.
interest,
This is the tournament.
Yes, this is awesome.
It is.
awesome.
It is.
Do they have a chance?
Ricky
That's
P.
my biggest thing.
Of course they have a chance. Don't
Like,
kid
what-
yourself.
But like, I think they actually do.
They do.
Because now they got confidence, they got a little bit of swagger. And again, it's not like this St. John's team. I know they've run through the Big East, but this isn't the Big East.
This is not the Big East.
Who's the better coach? X and
I mean,
O's.
Rick Pitino. It's not even close.
Are we what? Huh?
Not even close.
What?
He's saying it. He's making us answer
Oh.
it.
Not making you
He's
guys-
not asking the
it's-
question, really.
It's
He knows the
Pitino.
answer.
Pitino's a better coach.
Come on.
You know what's funny about it? We talk about how there's like a talent disparity. I think you mentioned that earlier, and I go back and forth on it.
I
I don't
think it's
I don't think
close.
you're necessarily wrong because there's an age difference with some of the guys
Right.
on Arkansas versus the guys on St.
Sure.
John's. So like I understand the point you're making. I think I disagree, but I understand the point
But
you're
is
making.
it that different?
But-
Is it that?
So again, we'll go back to this.
Take the age out of it.
All I'll say is this: when I look at this Arkansas team, I just think about what would happen if you gave Rick Pitino the talent that they have and what they can do, and that's all I'll say about it.
But
And we'll move on.
I think there's better players on St. John's.
Right now, yes.
I think
Right now,
Zuby
yes.
Ejiofor
But
is an X factor.
Are there any
I-
pros
I-
on
I
it?
think
Are there any NBA players on it? That's what I think.
RJ Lewis will play.
RJ
in the NBA.
Lewis is going to play a game in the NBA.
RJ Lewis will play in the NBA.
Oh yeah.
I think
He'll
Zuby
get a
Ejiofor
shot.
has a chance.
Yeah, I do
I think
too.
he got a shot.
He's
Right.
played
Absolutely.
Like, he
himself
has a
into a guy
shot.
that has a
Like
shot.
you guys know, like he has a shot.
Not maybe
So-
not.
so who's an
not
NBA
sure
player on
shot
Arkansas?
first rounders.
Right.
And I really only think Arkansas has.
Boogie will probably be an
How about
NBA player
He'll
eventually.
be
Boogie's
one.
totally-
He's the only
I think
one that
they
I
will
feel
play
like
in the
is a
league,
sure shot.
Yeah, because you're right. Like
Everybody
Brazil will
else.
be a G League guy. Big Z will be a G League guy.
Yeah.
The young, we don't know how good like Knox. We haven't seen
absolutely.
Richmond. Richmond
We'll know
actually,
that.
I think, has a chance.
He
to
actually
be
does.
good.
All
He
I'll
does.
say is this, Goodman. All
In
I'll
another
say is
year or
this.
two.
They're young.
Like
They're
a
just
Asar
so young.
But
Thompson
all I'll say is this: we haven't seen them.
Yeah.
And there's probably a reason why we haven't seen them as much.
Who?
The younger guys on Arkansas. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, because you're not going to
That's all
bench
I'll
the
say.
older dudes.
Yeah.
You're not.
All right. It was the first game of the day, so it feels like it was basically last week. But
It
feels
does.
Yeah,
It feels
yeah.
like yesterday.
Can I go to bed yet?
because you're out there talking to God knows who, you know. But Creighton beat Louisville in the first game of the day, believe it or not, and it was technically an upset. And so now, see, this is why I was looking so forward to the first round matchups or second round matchups, because it's now that we're getting Creighton versus Auburn, and they're basically. I mean, I'm not going to say they're mirror images of each other, but I mean, Creighton wants to put up 33s a game too, you know.
They got shooters, man.
So yeah, I mean, I feel like They're going to be live. I know the number came out. I think it's 10.5. I'm loving Creighton.
I mean, it's a lot of points to give this Creighton team with arguably as good of an all-around big man as there is in the country in Kalkbrenner. And I just think right now Jemiah Neal's playing at a different level, and that changes Creighton. That they might be better now because they were forced to have to give the ball to Jemiah Neal than it being dominated by Pop Isaacs back when they were playing in November, in a way. You know, it just forced him to have to take on a bigger role. He's been consistent. McAndrew hit a couple big threes today. I mean, they're going to need to make 10 threes to win this game, but they can.
I think, and to your point,
Totally
Neal was dynamite today. He's been great down the stretch for them, and obviously, like you said, he stepped up for Pop Isaacs. He's been really the X factor for that team because he kind of pushed them over the top so that they can.
They're going to need him against Auburn. Too.
Oh, they're going to need him because
big physical.
Yep, and he's
win.
He's the one guy that can kind of go get one himself. He can make some tough shots, not consistently, but enough to stop the bleed, put them over the top. But I think they really match up well. And the Kalkbrenner situation is going to be a problem, I feel like, for Auburn. So, not saying that they're going to be able to come out and just dominate the game, but I do think it'll be interesting. They'll be able to keep it close. They'll cause some problems from Auburn that they won't be used to, and they'll be able to guard some of that flex action. They're gonna park Kalkbrenner right in front of that paint and try to take away all the layups and easy baskets and fouls and things like that and make them try to beat them shooting jump shots.
Which I'd like to ask Brooks about, like, when you're doubling the post, right? Like, do you designate a guy to run down and double, and then when you guys double, the rotation's out of it?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's the thing. If you're going to double Kalkbrenner,
Mhm.
great, cool, awesome. We saw it today, like with Louisville. They didn't do a great job of it. They tried to double them because the rotations out of the double weren't great.
Scramble.
So if you do it, if you're going to double them, your rotations out of that double have to be unbelievable, right?
For sure, yeah. Like when we would be playing, like I was always the guy that would go double, and how we would kind of do it. It was different. Our scheme was very elaborate, and the guy who runs our defense is Chris Lowry. He used to be a head coach at SIUE.
Yeah.
Great coach,
Great defensive coach, great defensive mind, and trying to describe it as best as I can is. So, you go on the dribble because if you go when they're facing up, then especially if they got shooters, they can pick you apart. But if you go on the dribble and he kind of got to turn his back or just when he's not looking, I would go. And then you kind of got to you kind of got to angle it so it's kind of make him – so you want to make him pick it up. But if he dribbles it back out, you got to get right out because what we're doing on the backside is we're forming the eye, which is where you're talking about the rotations and how you come out. So when you form the eye, it's the two guys doubling. The other guy's going to come over and try to get to the the wing for be the outlet. That guy, you can't let that pass go out because then they'll whip it around for threes, kind of what you saw in the Louisville game. But if he goes and you deny that out, it's basically 2 versus 3 on the backside. But the top guy always has first pass.
Yep.
And so that's like where the thing is. And the top guy gets first pass. That guy in the bottom has to flow out to the next guy, and then me or whoever was in the double team has to get over to the big that's on the block, which would be my original man with the 4-man. And then you get elaborate, and if you face a Julian Reese who really wants to get to his left, then you just force him left, and you might have to come double from the bottom now, whereas not from the top. So then the top of the eye got to run to the corner off rip because that's the only place he can throw it to. And then the guy that doubling have to have his hands up so you can't get beat on the slot cut. So it's very elaborate, but
You should hire him.
We're going to bring you a grease board
do.
tomorrow.
Yeah,
We're going to do a little chalk talk tomorrow.
Rotations out of the double. We're trying to get into the media, but you should hire him.
He's going to be my GM.
for sure. I'm there.
So obviously, great year for Louisville, given all their injury
They
situation.
had a hell of a year.
But
to flip that program that quickly, and you could do it in this era, obviously a lot easier.
Agree. Yeah.
But Pat Kelsey was clearly the right hire for that program at this time.
Yeah, no, he has juice. He has juice. He came in. He was tweeting about the revival and stuff, and he did it. I mean, 18 ACC wins in year one. I mean, I know it was a down ACC, but you should never apologize for that. I mean, that's That's a fantastic year considering what they. How many years would it have taken Kenny Payne to get 18 ACC wins? 10 years. 4. No, it would take him 10 years.
I'm talking 4 more because he had what, like 5 coming in?
Did he have 5?
Can you give Dusty Meddy credit, please, too?
I'm not giving Dusty that. Rob has a very strict rundown.
That's where he draws the line, man.
It's not on the rundown. All right, it's not on the rundown.
All this credit, like give Dusty
Rob wants me to get to BYU. We haven't talked about BYU yet.
I just want to ask you one question before we get to BYU. How many NCAA tournament wins does Penny Hardaway have in 7? This is his 7th year, I believe.
Yes, 1.
Okay. How many games did Dusty May win in the tournament today?
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness. We're not talking about it. Are we? Let's talk about BYU and Kevin Young. Now, that's a coach I respect. I respect Dusty May. I'm giving everybody a hard time. But BYU looked brilliant today against VCU. They really did. And that was, again, another upset spot that people had identified, Rob, is, VCU's going to pressure BYU, or VCU's going to get them in things they don't like. But BYU handled it, man. BYU looked really damn good today. What did you think?
I didn't understand the people that were in on VCU winning that game. And McCall, I know what you're going to say. I think this is a very good VCU team, but I don't think that they match up well with BYU. And I also think that BYU has figured it out. They are at the point right now where they are playing their best basketball of the college basketball season. And their best basketball right now, they've proven it, man. Like, they are a top 10 team in college basketball right now in this moment because of what they can do defensively, because of the way that Kevin Young can manipulate that offense, because of the way that they can shoot, because of the different weapons they have offensively. You know, I thought getting Yegor Deming going early really, really helped because, like, he's the pro. He's had moments where he's looked like a freshman. He's had moments where he looked like, you know what, should we take this guy with the number 1 pick? Right? Like he when he flashes, man. Like, he pops loud. And getting him going early and turning that into something that VCU really had to think about defensively, I think really changed some things for him. And I mean, what else can you say about Mawot Mag? As good a defender as you're going to find, in college basketball. Like, he could lock you. Did you ever play against him when he was at?
I did.
At Rutgers?
Yep, I did.
How good is he?
Great. The best thing is, like, they used to do this 1-2-2, and he would be at the top. And he was hurt, I think, my sophomore year, his last year when he was at Rutgers when we played him. But he played the first game, and when he would be at the top and they would press, like, I remember my freshman year and then the first game, my sophomore year, he caused probably like 5 or 6 turnovers solely because of his length and, you know, how he wants to manipulate the press, like make you throw it back and forth, whether it be 10-second or whatever. But, yeah, I mean, he can guard 1 through whatever. He can switch, athletic. He's huge for them for sure.
I mean, BYU, they get Wisconsin next. They can win that.
I think that is a really good matchup for BYU.
Yeah, and it'll be a fun game to watch.
That is a fun game to watch.
2 teams that, if you had told us that BYU or Wisconsin would be in the Sweet 16 this year before the season started.
Well, no Rob way. Would tell you that BYU has the advantage because the altitude.
Yeah, they do.
Right?
They
do.
Drew?
The altitude.
That's Rob. Our trigger word.
Dr. Rob, is that true?
Altitude.
Yes.
Which has been said 247 times in the last 72 hours.
Tell him, Drill.
Half of them by
the altitude.
You brought my guy. You brought my guy in here from Beeson. He took the shittiest bad beat in the world and left, and he called it elevation. He changed the elevation. He put a twist on it.
The word
that'll be my forever memory of him. He loses on a terrible beat. He loses on a terrible beat. What was it? The Clemson over. They have 44 points and a half. He somehow loses the over, and he calls it elevation.
BYU. Do they get
yes,
Wisconsin?
I'm betting BYU. I'm betting Creighton. As you guys have seen today, I haven't lost a single bet in here. I have not lost a single, and I talked about them all. I showed you guys the Michigan
He's undefeated.
slip. I showed you guys that. I'm not here to bullshit. I'm here to play games. Okay, I'm here to win games.
Let it fly.
I'm in Vegas. Let it fly, and that's what I think BYU is going to do against Wisconsin. They're going to let Wisconsin, Fugazi, been talking about it. I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. I'll be betting this BYU team. They got pros. They got juice.
I'm with you. I'm 100% with you. And the most
That
important
scares the shit out of me.
But here's the most important part of that matchup to me. Most important part of that matchup to me is John Tonji is so important to what Wisconsin wants to do offensively.
Yep.
And I think you put Mawak Mag on him, and it shuts the water off.
Yep.
And I think that right there slows down everything that Wisconsin wants to do. So
I think we should talk to someone that played against Wisconsin multiple times this year.
who's that?
This guy right here. This guy right here. Tell him, Brooks. Why is Wisconsin good?
I mean, numerous reasons. I mean, like you said, like they're so disciplined, but then they also sped it up this year to where, you know, they have more freedom, but, you know, they still keep it tight-knit in what they do. They have bigs that can shoot. They're very tough. And I said it again, and I'll say it one more time too, but Kamari McGee off the bench is huge for him. Yes. Huge for him just because he comes in, he sets the pace. I mean, he shoots probably about 50 from three. He doesn't shoot many of them, but when he shoots them, he makes them. He's just a tough, hard-nosed guard. And, you know, so getting somebody like that off your bench when you have Tanji, Blackwell, you know, guys like that, like, he's just super, like, a great complimentary piece. And, you know, I don't know. I think it'll be a good game, but I want Wisconsin to win because, you know, I'm a Big Ten kid myself. But we'll see, though. It'll be a good
Is there
game.
any Big Ten team that you just can't root for?
I mean, I don't think so. Whenever I see a Big Ten team in the tournament, like, I mean, I got some that I like more than others because, like, my friends will play on their team or somewhere I'm close with, you know, the guys on that squad.
Friends
But
play on every team. Don't lie to the people.
not every team, but
Every team.
You get along with everybody.
but in the tournament, I'll root for the Big Ten.
No, I'm going to ask around. I wonder if everybody
to.
likes you.
Yeah,
That's what I want to know.
I
I
should
like
have-
everybody.
You should have-
can't stand that fucker.
So you know what they said when he
What
got
an
hurt? They're
asshole.
like, "Oh my gosh, thank God he's out. Thank God he's out. We don't want to deal with this guy."
Tired of the nut shots.
Thanks.
Well, we did it. We covered. We wanted everybody that you wanted to hit, right? We got everybody in that. You asked me. You said, John.
What do you got next?
Oh, well, now we're
It's
gonna.
not over.
No, now we're gonna. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Those are the three teams that we
So-
were instructed to cover,
right.
and we did it. And so now, yes. Now maybe I will talk about Dusty May, but you're gonna have to wait until we get back from the break. Field of 68 after dark.
If you haven't heard by now, we have partnered with BetMGM for the season. We'll be using BetMGM lines to make all of our picks, and we'll have special offers for the listeners and the viewers. Download the BetMGM app and sign up using the bonus code FIELD. Deposit at least $10 and place your first wager on any game, and you'll receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets. Go download the BetMGM app and use the code FIELD today. College basketball fans, are you ready to take your hoops game to a new level? Whether you're a seasoned bettor or just trying to win your March Madness office pool, Rhythm is here to give you the edge this season. With data-driven predictions for every single college basketball game left on the schedule, Rhythm helps you maximize your bets. And as March Madness kicks off, Rhythm's insights will help you spot those plucky Cinderellas that you know are going to shake up the NCAA tournament. But that's not all. When Selection Sunday rolls around, let Rhythm's AI-powered bracket generator do the heavy lifting for you. This is the same AI tool that performed 35% better than the average ESPN bracket last year. And here's the best part. Rhythm pairs perfectly with our Field of 68 expert analysis, giving you the 1-2 punch that you need for the rest of the college basketball season. So don't wait. Download Rhythm today and get ready to see college basketball and your betting results in a whole new light.
Welcome back, Field of 68 after dark. What day is it?
Thursday.
Is
The
it
greatest
Thursday? I know
day.
it's Thursday here.
The greatest day in
Thursday.
all
Still
of
Thursday
athletics.
here.
It's like Friday in
East Coast time.
Indonesia, whatever. Shout out to Indonesia. Friday, where our producer, the Wizard of Oz, is.
He's been yelling at us all day.
Yeah, he's been the Wizard of Oz. Has not been happy. We'll try to do better tomorrow.
Like, I wouldn't mess with Jerome McNeese.
Oh, man.
Ever in
Try
my
to-
life. I'll tell you one thing. I'm not messing with Dagan Hughes either.
Yeah,
man,
that's right. That's exactly right.
He's
And I'll say this: we're on SiriusXM, we're on YouTube. One person you can't mess with if the margin is within 4 points is the one and only Dusty May. He is the master at winning close games, and I'm not even joking. I mean, how many is this now for him? And I'm gonna start with you, Matt. I mean, is it a skill, or is it just happening, or like what do you think of it?
I mean, I think there's something with, you got to get a little bit fortunate, but there's a skill. There's working on special situations in practice. I mean, there's a level of that, but this team, like everybody thought that they were going to lose today. Everybody thought. They just won the Big Ten tournament. Everybody thought they were going to lose.
They did.
And Vlad Golden and Danny Wolf and the team is coming together right now, and this is a dangerous team.
Vlad hit 2 huge free throws.
Huge.
He hit 2 huge
He had to
free
hit
throws.
him too.
He did.
He had
He
to hit him
did.
too.
He did. Well, some of us didn't want those free throws to go in.
Some of us did.
I did not.
We have a Dusty May hater.
Yeah.
He's a mater.
Mater.
It's not even me. It's not even me.
Not right now.
No, we got the mater over here. Yeah, not quite the Sittler. But no, I thought like, yeah, they build a big lead against UC San Diego. They lose it. All right, how do you respond after you lose it? That's the thing that's always, to me, telling about a team.
I didn't think they responded all that well, but they made the plays they had to make down the stretch. It was just not all that dissimilar from what happened with Drake, right? Like I thought Michigan played well early.
Yeah,
They should have played better early. I thought they should have had a bigger lead, but they turned the ball over too many times again. There were too many offensive rebounds late again, which is kind of what has been their Achilles heel this season. But they were able to do enough early on to build that lead. And then once you get into a close game, they made the plays. Like Trey Donaldson hit a massive three.
That three,
tie,
that
right?
three was huge.
Yeah, that three was huge. And then I forget, someone had a driving, like I forget who it was, that scored in the paint. And I thought that was one of the biggest difference makers.
Yeah,
for me, they made the plays late that you had to win a close game.
I don't know,
but that's what they do. Like
that's their DNA.
They win close games. They don't have like this great profile when it comes to the analytics. They're not this like uber efficient team, but they hang in games. They're big. They're tough. They're difficult to match up with, and then they do the things they have to do at the end to be able to win.
Yeah, I mean, I think when I was talking about it earlier, I said like Trey Donaldson, like although people might not say he's a true point guard, turnovers and stuff like that, like those might be some of his downfalls. But I mean, he hits big shots. I mean, this is probably these are like 3 daggers in the last 4 games that they play. Maryland,
they go to him at the end.
They go to him. They really do. They go to him. They trust him, and it's always in his hands at the end. Like it'll be with Danny for like the first 35, but now it'll be like Trey the last 5. I mean, Maryland.
That was not the way it was early on. That was the question we had.
No.
Like, do they have a guy other than Danny Wolf? Because we talk about the close games. You go back and look what happened at the start of the season. Like they blew a lead to Arkansas, right? They blew a lead to Oklahoma, right?
Yeah,
it was Oklahoma,
I think so.
They blew a lead to Wake Forest and Charlotte. Like they blew leads.
Yep.
And it wasn't just because of the turnover. Like there were very real questions about the point guard play on that team. Point guard play. Hit the button, Goodman. Point guard play.
Yeah, they found a way to do it without a real point guard. I mean, again, Trey's made shots, but he's not. They run so much through Danny Wolf.
Yeah.
They're so kind of unique in today's college basketball and how they play.
Yeah.
It works out just fine for them. They only average 12,000 turnovers a game.
But you know what? Again, if you look at what they were supposed to do this year and what Dusty May has done with that team, I don't know what they were picked. I'm not sure what they were picked preseason, but I think most people probably had them.
They won 8 games last year.
Right.
8 at Michigan.
Yeah.
But again,
and again, I'm sure he would, if he could put this team together again, he would probably put it together a little differently. But with what he's had,
like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean?
Well, I think he'd have a better point guard situation. I do. But he's done a great job given what he had to work with. Yeah. And again, sometimes you take over a new team.
He's done a great job given what he had to work with.
Given the situation, taking over a new program that was down, having to build it from scratch. Do all these guys not have $8 million in NIL? Probably having closer to 3.5.
I mean, look, I think that has actually been something that's been underrated about the job that Dusty May has done this year. We've talked about it.
Michigan's broke.
Yeah,
I mean, $3.5 million in the Big Ten in 2025 is sad.
I mean,
we've talked
Indiana
about
had 5.2.
Goodman.
John Martin.
We've talked
can
about
you
it.
just say, like he's done a good job.
100%.
Okay.
All right, bro.
But I think
That's
UC San Diego got a horrible whistle.
I agree though.
And I bet Michigan.
They did.
Yeah.
But
You know that, right?
yeah, they got.
I mean,
I would tend to agree, but I had financial implications on.
yeah,
on
for
that.
sure. I didn't, but I still think.
I mean, we can all be honest about that, right? Like UC San and the coach was like,
Can I go to bed yet?
no,
10 more minutes.
you got 10 more minutes
You're
here.
almost there. Almost.
I-
there.
I-
It's the end
do.
of the
I-
Siddler.
I had Michigan and credit to him, but I just thought UC San Diego got that outside the Power
They
5
play
whistle.
great, man. They rep really well. I mean, think about
Yeah.
Eric
It
Olin.
was-
I don't
it
know
was
what
awesome.
job he can get. So I don't think he fits like UNLV. He's been out in San Diego for a long time. But there's got to be something. I mean,
Yeah.
like if Colorado State opens, if
Unbelievable.
Colorado State opens,
Unbelievable.
don't
job.
you just say, hey,
Yeah, this
now
is
again,
your
they
job.
may hire.
It's amazing how in this cycle, one good season is going to get you
Get
that
you
big
out
shot.
of
Like
there.
that's what this has turned into.
Well, he's had a couple good years, though.
I know, but I'm just like you have one breakthrough year. It's a team. Let me ask you guys this. All right, Houston won 78-40 against SIUE. Auburn beat Alabama State by 20. Tennessee beat Wofford 77-62. St. John's won by 30 against Omaha, despite the fact that they were up by 2 with 28 seconds left in the first half. Wisconsin was Montana had a little run there in the second half. Wisconsin won by 19. Texas A&M beat Yale by 9. Which out of those teams, and we got Texas Tech here, they're up by 11. There's about a minute left. Out of those teams, let's go down the line. We'll call who out of that group who impressed you the most. Is there someone that made you say, okay, I need to maybe reset my calibrations on what this team is?
Maybe Auburn. I had some concerns going into the game today, and they handled business. They did what they were supposed to do and blow out a team as a 1 seed. I think I'll go with Auburn because I had some concerns.
With me, I would say Houston. I think at the start of the show, I said I kind of have them in my bracket or whatever winning it. I just think that they're super tough and then just come out on the first day and not really show any signs of weakness and just kind of handle business and move on to the next round the way they did. I feel like they really impressed me for sure.
I'm going to go with Wisconsin. I had doubts about Wisconsin coming in. I thought that Montana was going to give them a fight. I thought Montana had a real chance to win that game. They went out there and it was close for a little bit in the second half, but they ended up finding a way to win that thing, and they won by 19. And John, most importantly, they covered.
Yeah, they did. I mean, bad beat for full game Montana backers for sure.
But what about people that had Montana plus 9.5 in the first half?
Ooh, sharp. Anybody have Wisconsin first half? What a damn idiot.
Imagine taking a favorite on the first half line. Imagine taking a favorite. Could never be me.
Crazy.
Could never be
Especially
me.
Wisconsin.
Yeah. Terrell, who you got?
Terrible.
I'll go with Purdue. A game they obviously a lot of people probably thought that they haven't looked great. They may drop this one. Matt Painter just does what he does. They got arguably the best point guard in the country. Kaufman Wren is dynamite as well too. Fletcher Loyer is good. They're going to be a tough out. Obviously, they'll have an interesting game coming up with McNeese State, but I still like that draw better for them than Clemson.
I agree.
So,
Hey, after what happened today, I disagree. After what happened
don't get me
today,
wrong.
Wow, so you're
One
taking
bad
McNeese
day.
over Purdue.
One bad day, but
Yes.
no, I will take.
I will be on the McNeese
State
money
to
line
get to
on
the Sweet
Saturday.
16. I'll take my chance with McNeese State to get to the Sweet 16 over Clemson. Still, don't get me wrong. Clemson looked like absolute trash in the first half today,
That
but
was embarrassing, man.
just matchup wise, if I'm Purdue, I'll take my chances.
Would you like to collaborate on our answer and
I got a
submit
different
Arkansas?
answer. No, I got a different answer.
Oh, okay,
Can't
well, I'm
wait.
going to Arkansas
We
then.
can't wait.
We leave
that
them
was
on an island.
not. That was,
You said who impressed
No,
you
he was
most?
saying favorites, though. He was going with more favorites,
I-
like top 4 seeds, right? Top 4
I
seeds.
didn't realize you meant.
All right, I got a
all
different
favorites.
one. You recount.
who invited
Try
this
to
guy?
figure your shit
Who
out
invited
over
this
here.
guy?
I'm gonna go Texas A&M,
Ooh,
beating Yale.
Good one.
I like
They're a team that we didn't know how they were going to play. They only got 21 points combined out of Wade Taylor and Zurich Phelps, and they ended up beating Yale and avoiding the upset. That's huge for them. That is absolutely huge. So I'm going A&M here.
I guess it only leaves St. John's for me then. I mean,
No, you don't. You don't have to take. We can take Tennessee. You can take. a name that's
Tennessee
already
wasn't
been
as impressive as St. John's
St.
was.
mentioned. You
John's
can take someone that's already been mentioned too.
But the only problem with St. John's is that I don't want to take somebody that's been mentioned. The only problem with St. John's is that I just know what they did in the first 10 minutes is going to catch up with them at some point. But tonight, the way they came back and just like it wasn't even they squashed Omaha. Omaha was feeling good. They're like, hey. And St. John says, no, not a chance. All right, Wizard Bob says it is time for toast. Who wants to start? Who wants to start with toast tonight presented by
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Who wants to start?
Go to McCall. Start it off.
I'll go. McNeese State, Will Wade, finding a way to knock off Clemson. Give me McNeese.
And
Javon Garcia.
His appearance with us on the field of 68
shout
went
out to
viral.
him.
Oh,
It went viral.
We appreciate that.
Yeah, shout out to Matt Norlander.
He keeps it a buck. He keeps it a buck.
And it's
for
lack
sure.
of credit.
He keeps it the buck.
All right, Brooks, it's your first toast.
First, when you make a toast tonight, the best thing to do is to generally speak into the mic.
Okay.
I'm
I'm gonna go Trey Kaufman-Ram, Purdue. First round win, man.
Bias selection.
I like
Bias
it.
selection.
I like
That's
it.
your friend. Although everyone's your friend, apparently. So toast.
Brooks doesn't have a
Did you have a
single
top-
enemy.
You're too young for MySpace, but we had the top 8. You would have not been able to do that. You had too many friends. I just dated myself. That's
funny.
even Goodman's like, what the hell?
I'm gonna send my toast tonight out to Mick Cronin.
Hell
Mick
yeah.
Cronin and UCLA.
Great
Mick
Cronin,
won the game
bitches.
tonight.
Great toast.
We've spent the whole season just kind of glossing over UCLA, how good they've been, the success that they have had, new conference, traveling everywhere. Mick yelling about everybody doing it. They beat Utah State by 25 today. So
Great
my toast tonight,
Yeah.
Mick Cronin.
That's a great one. Dominant victory, and I'll jump off of that, and I'm going to go with the Creighton Blue Jays. Again, they kicked the day off. They kicked the morning off for us. I think everybody thought it was going to be a lot closer game, but for the most part, they did what they did. All of those guys came to play. Kalkbrenner, Ashworth, Neal, they were dynamite, and they, for the most part, had their way with Louisville.
I'm not going to toast. I'm going to pour one out for the Mountain West. They lost 2. They lost another one. They lost another one, and they lost another one today in Utah State, like Rob mentioned. And tomorrow they lose the remaining 2, okay, in Colorado State and New Mexico. So we're pouring one out for the Mountain West.
I got 2 then. I got 2 left.
Okay, go.
One goes to my boys from Drake, which you got to go. Bennett
That was the
Sturts
most
and rest of those
obvious
guys.
thing that has ever happened.
And the least obvious, one goes to John Calipari.
Hey, I like that.
Huge win over Kansas.
Woo
Cal,
pig. Woo pig.
to you.
Look at you. Look at you. Thanks to Dadwater for being our presenting sponsor of Toast and pouring out the other night.
Shout out to Steve, Dadwater Steve. All the Dadwaters are flavors are named
They're
after.
named.
dads.
I noticed that.
Hey, that's going to do it for us. Thanks for being with us here on the first official day of the NCAA tournament. We are back all day tomorrow with the Madness Cast as well as After Dark. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great night.